Welcome back to the studio, everyone. I am Eric C. Jackson, and yes, I'm still upgrading. I am in a new location. I finally moved not too far away from where I was, same city, but I definitely moved into a place where I have a lot more space. And I also am trying out a new camera now, so we'll see how it goes. Today we are going to be talking about hard drives, external hard drives, really, and the comparison between your regular external hard drive and your solid state hard drive. And for me, that's another thing that I upgraded. So if you guys are following me on Instagram, on my personal profile, I posted an update, I think yesterday, but I finally upgraded to the Samsung T7 Shield. It has the extra cushioning, I guess, around it, but let me see if I can pull it up here. Okay. So this is it's two terabytes. I don't know how computer savvy everyone is, but a terabyte is basically 1 terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. So this is 2 terabytes, and I'm replacing my WD. This is a 5 terabyte external hard drive, but the biggest difference is this one is a regular hard drive, traditional hard drive, and this is the solid state hard drive. Now, I purchased this off of Amazon a couple of days ago, and because my 5 terabyte hard drive, which I've had for a few years now, it started making a very familiar noise that's not good. And we're going to go into why this hard drive eventually is going to make that noise. So I pulled up some info from, I guess, Google AI, and we'll go into what's going on and why you'll probably hear that noise. Let me move my screens around. Hold on. Okay. So I can see what's going on. Okay. So why would you want a solid state over the traditional hard drive? So looking at Google AI, this is the overview. The solid state drives are generally faster, more durable, and more energy efficient than the hard disk drives. While the hard disk drives offer higher storage capacity, they do offer higher storage capacity for the most part, and they're more cost effective, which means they're cheaper. They're definitely cheaper. All right, hold on. Let me move this because I can't see it as well on the other screen. Okay. All right. So why is that? This is, if I can make this larger. Yeah, this is the hard drive here. You see this disc? It looks like a CD. That is why I'm hearing that noise. It's called a platter, as I learned yesterday. And the platter can rotate over 7,000 rotations per minute. So I would say like a traditional external hard drive, that platter It rotates like 7,200 rotations per minute, which is a lot, but that's how your memory is stored on a traditional hard drive. And let me move my camera out of the way. Hold on. There we go. So you guys can see. It's better. All right. So that's the platter. And I think it's magnetically stored on this platter. So it spins a whole bunch, and obviously as time goes by, because of all the rotations that it does per minute, it wears down, and you will literally hear your external hard drive making noises, right? Now, these hard drives with the platters, they're also in our computers. Like if you buy a traditional PC, they have these types of hard drives that have the spinning platters, right? For Mac, I don't even know if Mac uses the platters anymore. I think everything's solid state drive with Macs now. Because my Mac Mini that I use now, it's got a solid state drive, but it's not very big in terms of space. It's only 256 gigs because I got the base model. But that's really what it is. Now, the other thing, the solid state drive, it stores your data on these circuits. And I believe it says it uses flash memory to store the data. But anyway, point being is that on the solid state drives, they call it solid state because there's no moving parts to it, right? So because there is no movement, the hard drives last longer, which is a good thing. So for me, over the years, I've simply recognized when my hard drives were about to, they call it crash. My hard drives were about to crash. And then I would just, replace it as I've done this time with another external hard drive. But this time around, as I said, I moved everything off of the platter onto the solid state drive. So it's more expensive. It's less storage space. But I was looking at my 5 terabyte traditional external, and I was only using like 1.5 terabytes worth of space, and I still have quite a few files, and I'm gonna continue to clean out my files and delete files that I don't really use anymore. So it's a lot of photography for me. Most of it's photography, but I felt like the 2 terabytes is going to be enough. Now, I also use my iPad Pro as a secondary backup for my print files, my photography print files, and I've got 1 terabyte worth of space on the iPad Pro. The iPad Pro also uses a solid state hard drive. Now, if you get it your desktop or your laptop through Apple, they are going to charge you an arm and a leg, excuse the phrase. They're going to charge you a lot to get a decent size solid state hard drive, right? So for me, what I did is I bought a base model Mac Mini. Like I said, it's only 256 gigabytes on the hard drive as far as storage space. So I ended up buying the external hard drives, which I use that basically for everything, because it's cheaper, right? But this time around, like I said, I got tired of buying this traditional hard drive over and over and over again every time they were about to go out. I had a pretty hefty HDD before, and I didn't transfer the work fast enough before it crashed. So I lost quite a bit of work. Like, I've been doing this since 2008. So I think I've lost data 2, maybe 3 times. Like, lost quite a bit of work, and it's just, I think you can pay someone to try to, once the hard drive does crash, like you can't access your data, you can pay someone to try to recover it from your failing hard drive, but I don't know how much that is, and I don't know if they'll be successful at pulling everything off of the hard drive. But once it crashes, I mean, it's just very difficult to get everything off of there. So before I changed to the WD that I have now, the black one, I lost a couple of years, I think. I lost a couple of years, and it wasn't the newer stuff. It was the older files that I had, because I was using the other hard drive more like an archive storage, and it finally went out. Now, I will say that I do not use cloud storage anymore. Like, when it first started becoming popular, I used cloud storage, but then mainly on Google Drive. But then I started getting a lot of notifications that people from the other side of the world were accessing my files. So that was the end of that. I know there's a lot of companies that offer cloud storage, including Apple, including Google. There's quite a few third parties that offer cloud storage. I just don't like it. I don't trust it. Too many people have access to it. Like, you take, instead of your files, like if someone really wanted to get your files, they would literally have to take your physical hard drive. If you put your files on the cloud, they don't have to come physically to where you are. They can just hack into Apple servers or Google servers or Verizon servers or whoever's servers, hack into their servers, pull all the data, all your files that they want, and then they're off. And they don't have to be in your city. They don't have to be in your state. They don't have to be in your country. And then they have ways to track all these things, but it's still like your files are just out there, a lot more than this, right? So for me, that's why I don't use or recommend to anyone to use cloud storage, especially if you're running your business and you have a lot of files on there that are really important. So yeah, I wouldn't. I would not use cloud storage at all. But in terms of speeds, the solid state drives are faster. Again, they're more durable, and you guys can look this up. But they are smaller in terms of storage size. So, case in point, and they're more expensive for the same thing. So what I did is I pulled up my WD on Amazon. Right now, the 2 terabyte version external hard drive is $82, and it's fine. But I would say after 3 years, after about 3 years, just keep an eye on it. Like, listen for if it's making any type of weird noises, if it's starting to load slower than it usually does, that sort of thing. Just pay attention to Pay attention to it. And the other thing is don't drop your traditional hard drive. Like, don't drop any hard drive, but don't drop these, because the platter that I showed you guys before, it can get jarred, especially if it's spinning. Like, don't do anything like that, because you can definitely throw it off. It's not as durable because there's the movement, the spinning, the rotating at, like I said, 7,200 rotations per minute. Yeah, it's easier to damage the traditional hard drives. But again, for $82, you get 2 terabytes. It's not bad. Now, with the solid state that I have, again, it's 2 terabytes, but it's $160. So you're paying twice as much in this case for the same amount of storage. But again, this is the shield type. Now you can buy the one that's unshielded, that's solid state. I wouldn't recommend that either, because I just feel like this little texture on it is also helps you hold the hard drive, because it's pretty small. And the one without this padding on it, it just seems like it'll be too slippery. And sometimes I can be a little bit rough with my hard drive. So yeah, I definitely like the one that's rugged and has a coating to it. But yeah, it costs twice as much for the same amount of storage. So if you are really limited with your budget, it's perfectly fine to go with the $82 version. But I would say when you get further along, especially your career starts to pick up, if you're doing photography or anything, is you have to have an archive for your digital files. I would definitely say, go with the solid state drive for sure. For sure, because it just lasts longer. It can take more of a beating if you're a little bit rough with your external hard drives, if you're traveling a lot. The Samsung in particular is a lot smaller. It's more lightweight. It's not as heavy. And yeah, I think you don't have to worry about, okay, around a 3-year or 4-year mark, I don't think you would have to see or listen for the platter on the inside like wearing down, because you'll hear it wearing down in your traditional hard drives. So that's the thing that you have to weigh. I think the next thing that I would do is probably go for, let's say, a 4 terabyte, if they have any of those. So this is a 4 terabyte solid state. This is the one without the coating. And you see how slick this is? That is crazy. But anyway, it's $270. And then you have the one that's a little bit more rugged. It's about $300. Now, at the same time, if you go with a 4 terabyte, maybe it'll be 5. I don't know how they're. Okay, so this one's a 4 terabyte HDD, and it's $100. This is a Seagate. It's the one with the spinning platter on the inside, but it's $100 for 4 terabytes. This one, same deal. This one is a 4 terabyte, $115. So again, instead of spending $300, $270, $300 for 4 terabytes, a lot of people will say, well, I'd rather just spend $100 to $115 for a solid you know, external hard drive. So that's the thing. This is one is the rugged with the padding. I used to have the lacy, but I've gone through two of these. Like two of these have crashed on me. So I got away from the lacies. Well, two of these ruggeds in particular, and then I had a really hefty, like a bulky lacy that looked more like a small computer. It looked more like this, like a little baby tower. And that one went on me. So this one's a 4 terabyte WD brand. It's $109, $110. It's not the rugged. It doesn't have the extra padding on it, but I mean, yeah, the 4 terabyte HDDs are cheap in comparison. So you can imagine if you go up to, let's say if you want 8 terabytes, right? This is an 8 terabyte external hard drive. It's not a solid state. It's the traditional HDD. $150. That's insane, right? That is insane. For 8 terabytes is $150. That is crazy. This one from WD Western Digital is $140 for 8 terabytes. You know, so that's why, you know, even professionals like they go with the regular hard drives and not the solid states, because you can get a lot of storage for cheaper. Now on the solid state side, hold on, I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry about that. So let me go back. This is the Seagate, 8 terabytes. Right. And then this is the rugged lacy that I had. You guys probably didn't see that. But yeah, I went through two of these. And then this one is, yeah, this is the Seagate. They got the Western Digital for $140. Now this one is I think it's called a RAD, or is it a RAID? RAID 5. That's on a whole different level in terms of storage, because I believe that you have multiple hard drives in one unit, right? So you would put this is a 4 drive HDD. So you can buy 4 separate HDD, hard drives, and store them into this one case, and it all acts as one unit. So that's when you have like a massive amount of files that you have to store. I imagine if you're into film, into animation, into 3D modeling, you need a place to keep all of your files. Then you start going, like, there is no getting around that. It's going to be expensive, even if you're just using the regular HDD externals. But if you look at this one, this is a 6 terabyte solid state drive for $560 basically. But then you look right below it, this is a 6 terabyte HDD. It's not a solid state, and it's $180. So do you want to spend $180 for 6 terabytes on a regular hard drive, or do you want to go solid state and spend $560? So especially when you get to the larger storage capacities, there's going to be a huge discrepancy. So I don't know if there's any way for you to get around that. Like again, this one's a Seagate, 8 terabytes, a little over $175. This is a rugged, this is an HDD. 8 terabytes is $500, but it's supposed to be more durable. But yeah, that's crazy. Wow. That is crazy. So let me check one more thing before I let you guys go. 8 terabyte solid state. We've got 4. Oh, wow. Oyen Digital U34 Boat 8 terabyte solid state drive. Basically $1,100. And obviously it's got that rubber around it to make it more durable, just in case, God forbid, you drop it. This one is a SanDisk 8 terabyte extreme solid state drive, water and dust resistant, 560. This is another Crucial X10 8 terabyte solid state drive, 440. That's not bad for compared to the prices we've been seeing now. Crucial, I don't know how they are as a brand. So I don't know. You guys have to check that out. Do a little bit of digging on the brands here. Because I'm comfortable with WD, I'm comfortable with Samsung, but some of these brands I haven't heard of. So in terms of quality and how long they last, do some research on there, which I usually go into a lot of reviews on YouTube, and professionals, like, they make their career out of comparing brands, durability, reliability, that sort of thing. And then you'll have an idea of what's too good to be true in terms of pricing and what's really a good deal. This is a Vectotech 16 terabyte external solid state hard drive, $1,800. Like, this is not a computer or a laptop or desktop. This is just the external hard drive, but it is solid state. I wouldn't say it's the most rugged looking. I mean, yeah. I like, don't drop this. Don't drop it. But yes, the prices are up there. They're just up there. So I have gotten to the point now where I can afford I can afford a little bit to spend a little bit more on the stuff for the business. So again, I'm in the process of moving. I'm sorry about the screen changes and things like that. I'm looking into getting another monitor. I'm just debating with myself on how much I want to spend. But again, for this particular episode, it's just when you are thinking about your budget and also thinking about how much your files mean to you, you're going to have to weigh your options for sure. But for me, like I said, having a lot of photography, the 2 terabytes right now is fine. I mean, obviously, I'm more comfortable with having 5 terabytes, But like I said, when my 5 terabyte hard drive started making this weird noise, I don't want to say it's gonna sound like grinding noise, but you're gonna hear the platter on the inside rotating. Because like I said, it's 7200. Most of these are like the average rotation time or rotations are 7200 rotations per minute. So after a few years, you're going to start to hear this, right? And when you start to hear it, that's when you get a replacement and you transfer all your data off of here and put everything on here. I did leave one folder on here and I took everything else off. But the one folder I left on here, I also copied it onto this one. So yeah, I just have backups. And then I have the folder that's on here. I have that on my solid state that's in the iPad Pro. But that folder is so large, I cannot fit it on my Mac Mini. Because like I said, the Mac Mini, I've got 256 gigs, which is not a lot. Okay, I do want to show you guys that one more thing. With your Mac Minis or your MacBook Pros, if you have a MacBook Air, if you try to get a lot of storage space on your Mac, they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg for it, which I alluded to before, but I didn't show you guys what I was talking about. So let me make sure that I switch screens correctly this time and visit Apple. All right, so where would the Mac Minis be? Here we go. And obviously my Mac, I think I have the M2 version, and right now they're on the M4s, if I remember correctly. But yeah, see the newer version, it's a little chunkier and it's like in terms of thickness, and it's smaller than the one that I have. So if I go to buy, you'll notice your storage. So for $600, which is the base model, you're going to get 256 gigabytes for a solid state drive. There is no HDD, there is no spinning platter. They do not offer, Apple doesn't offer the traditional hard drive. So they start you out with 256 gigabytes, which is not that's like nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's not going to do you any good. So 1 terabyte, as I mentioned before, 1 terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes. So if Apple is only giving you 256 gigs on their base model, what's it, like a quarter of a terabyte? Like, what are we supposed to do with that? Anyway, so that's $600. If you want to, double up on it and get 512 gigabytes, we're still not at a terabyte yet. That's $800. And then their next model up is $1,000, and it's still 512 gigabytes. So we're still not at 1 terabyte yet. It is a solid state drive, but again, 512 gigs is just not great. And then the best model that they're offering, you get more cores for the CPU, the GPU, but in terms of storage, you're still at 512 gigabytes, which is crazy ridiculous for something that cost $1,400. So Apple is very stingy with their storage space. Off of the 4 models that they have that I'm looking at, I mean, 512 gigs is the most you can get. Now, this one is the M4. 512 still. Now, the M4 Pro, I think they're going to loosen up their grip. No, they're not. It's still 512. All right, sorry. Okay, so let's go base model. Let's say you want to spend $600 on the base model. So you would select this, and let's say that, okay, the base model is fine. You get 16 gigs of memory. You got the 10 core CPU, the 10 core GPU, the 16 core neural engine, but you want more memory. Wait, not more memory. You want more storage space. So if you want to go from 256 gigs to 512, they're going to add on $200 to the price. And so now you're paying $800. And let me move my camera again. Sorry. There we go. All right. And if you want to go if you want a terabyte, then they're gonna boost the price up to $1,000. So basically, if you want a terabyte of storage space on the base model of the Mac Mini, the M4 chip, they're going to charge you $400. I think it's $400. Let me see. Yeah, they're going to charge you $400 more. And if you want 2 terabytes on your base model Mac Mini, they charge you $800 for that. It's like they can't be serious. $800 for 2 terabytes of a solid, like even for solid state drives, $800 is a lot for 2 terabytes. It just is. So again, you go from $600 to $1,400 just because you want 2 terabytes of hard drive space or storage space. Sorry. You want 2 terabytes of storage space on the Mac Mini, the base model. That is insane. That's more than double the cost. Oh, wow. You're literally paying more for the storage space, the extra storage space, than you are for the actual computer. Like the computer with the 256 gigs are charging you $600, but then they're charging you $800 more to add 2 terabytes of solid state storage space. That's crazy. So I wanted 2 terabytes worth of space, right? So I went ahead and bought an external solid state drive with 2 terabytes of storage on it for, it was like $150. So I don't understand why Apple makes it so expensive to put 2 terabytes of an SSD on your computer. Like, it shouldn't be $800. That's just, I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. And you can also find some videos on YouTube where people literally take their Mac Mini apart, add more storage space, and then put the Mac Mini back together. Now, obviously, once you break the seal, you break the warranty on it. So people usually do this after the warranties, expired. But yeah, because $800 extra for two terabytes of storage space of a solid state drive, I mean, it's too much, obviously. Well, I didn't know it was that. I knew they charged a lot, but I didn't know it was that much. So I'm curious about this too. Like, is it dependent on the cost of the computer? So if you go with the M4 Pro chip, right, top of the line, it already costs $1,400. What if you want to put more storage on it? Oh my gosh. That's interesting, isn't it? Do I still have my camera in the right space? Okay, I'm good. Um 2 terabyte solid state drive storage is $600 instead of $800. So why is there a $200 decrease on this model opposed to the base model, and it's the same 2 terabytes of solid state storage? Like, I don't understand that. Like, why did it go from 800 and drop to 600 for the same 2 terabytes? I don't know. And then it gets worse. If you want 4 terabytes solid state drive storage, they're going to charge you an extra $1,200. Now, again, you are paying $1,400 for the computer. They're going to charge you they're going to add on $1,200 for 4 terabytes of storage. Solid state drive, yes, but still. That's crazy. If you want 8 terabyte solid state drive storage, they're going to add on $2,400, $2,400 if you want 8 terabytes on the computer instead of an external hard drive. That's $1,000 more than the computer itself. I don't understand the like, how do they justify the cost? And of course, like, I don't know how many people do bring this up or they don't bring this up, but it's just like, that's just like price gouging at its finest. Like, I'm just like, it can't be that much. It can't cost that much, right? I don't know. But if I'm wrong on that, you guys in the comments explain what's going on. Cause I'm at a loss. I don't understand what's going on with this. You can go Amazon, whatever computer company you want to shop at, and buy, solid state storage, and it's not going to cost this much for the same amount of storage space. So I'm trying to figure out like what are they using to put inside of their computers that is gonna make the price this high. I'm at a loss for words with that one. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That's just bad. That is terrible. I don't know. Just looking at those numbers, like, somebody has to look into that and see what's going on, because that makes no sense. No sense. But that's all I have. If nothing else, I've convinced you guys to go external. Whether you go HDD or SSD, you're gonna buy an external with your Mac computer or laptop. Yeah, because that's bad. So I do have the Mac Mini. I'm going to replace the Mac Mini I have eventually, but not because of the storage space, but because of the RAM. I've only got 8 GB of RAM on here. And even though you do have the M2 chip, which is awesome, on my larger files that I work on, I do run into a problem sometimes where I run out of space. So again, with Apple, it's the same issue. Not as bad as the solid state drive upgrades, but it's the same issue when you add RAM memory to internally to the desktop or to the laptop. They charge you like considerably more than I feel like they can or should, but they charge you a lot extra for that. So on my PC laptops, I would change out the RAM all the time, like upgrade the RAM, just buy the RAM chips online and change it out. Like it was just because I knew like how PCs work and operate, take them apart, put them together, stuff like that. I'm not like a software engineer or anything, but it's like it's simpler to do it. Looking at how to take the Apple desktop apart, I don't want to break anything for sure. And they put especially with the RAM, like they put it in a place where if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to end up breaking your computer trying to replace the RAM or replace the hard drive or whatever. Like you're going to end up breaking something. So yeah, they made sure that the casuals cannot go in and internally change something, but it is definitely cheaper that way. So as I said before, I'm going to continue to add to the background. I did upgrade my camera to 4K, and because of this camera, I'm not using a DSLR anymore. So with this one, I don't have to use as much light, which is a good thing. So I don't have to have so much stuff all over the place. But anyway, so yeah, just continue to leave your feedback. I will continue to look at the feedback that you guys leave and let me know what else, if anything, you want me to talk about or go over. But just for what I'm thinking about right now is I have to go into upgrades, and I'm arguing with myself on how much I want to spend. Because I did go to Amazon. I registered my business, and so as we were looking through the Amazon stuff on products, that's on my business account. So I applied for Amex, Amazon's Amex card, and was approved for that. So they did give me it used to be $150 gift card if you were approved, but it's down to $100 now. Upon approval, you get the $100 Amazon gift card. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna put that towards my purchase of the camera and the solid state external hard drive. So everything definitely helps. But I will say, and this is a whole different subject that I've alluded to, is that when you are going through your business account, they are going to pull your personal credit, especially if your business doesn't have a high enough revenue. They're going to go off of your personal credit. And so, as I've said a few weeks ago, since March, I want to say, I had 7 credit cards with balances on them. I paid off 5 of those. I have 2 left. And so now my credit rating is at the point where it's like you start getting offers from everywhere. And then your interest rate goes down. You get better interest rates. You get better rewards and all this other stuff. So, yes, have your personal credit rating and whatnot in check, so that when you start applying for stuff for your business, they're going to look at you. Even if it's a soft pull, they're going to look at your personal account to see where you are, and how much you're making apart from the business annually. So like I said before, I'm just in a much better place. And so now I'm looking at upgrades, and I'll go into that more as the weeks go on. I just don't know how much I want to spend right now. I don't know. The more mature me is leaning towards the last 2 cards I have on my personal account, paying those off, and then going into I definitely need a better desk because this is not going to work. I'm going to get plants. I do have 1 snake plant, but I want like 2 giant snake plants for the background. So 1 on each side of the sofa. That sofa is fine for now, but I want something more comfortable. Style about the same or similar to it, but like more cushion. I love the pillows, all that stuff like that. The lighting, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with the lighting back there. But yeah, I have to go over all that stuff. So, yeah. And I would like to know if you're one of those creators that like using the cloud for storage. How has that worked for you? Are you comfortable with using the cloud? Which services do you use? Do you find certain cloud services are better than the others? That sort of thing in terms of security. Because I'm always looking for backups. But again, as I said before, I just don't, my trust is really shaken in how secure cloud storage is. Like I can have cloud storage for my iPhone and stuff like that, but like my files for the business, photography, that sort of thing, no thank you. So that's all I have for this episode. Thank you guys for listening. Remember to like and share, subscribe, keep track of what I'm doing day to day more so on my social media like Instagram. You can follow me on, was it at Eric C. Jackson Studio on Instagram. I'm also on X. Most of the people still call it Twitter, at ECJ Studio. And whether it's Pinterest, LinkedIn, Eric C. Jackson Studio, I'm there. So I'm trying to do a better job with posting more regularly, and I'm also on TikTok. I decided to stay on TikTok and just not be so picky about what I post or how I post there, but just stay active more. So I really appreciate the follows, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.